See, boys, playing it safe with the crap music this week. Got to play it kind of safe, you know. Article 13 flying around. You never know what's happening. So we're back. We're live. How's it going, gentlemen?
It's going. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. Good day today. 420 in Glasgow, all around the world. You know, that famous date where, for once in Scotland, you've got a little corner of Glasgow Green where you can spark up a big doobie. And usually you don't get into trouble, but the police today were like hassling people. But it was a good day, and as you can see, I don't have many eyeballs left. Well, I've got 2 eyeballs, I just don't have much seeing power out of them.
Little red, too.
Just a little red, yeah. You boys not celebrating 420 today, no?
It's 420 every day where I am.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
there's really nothing special about it.
You know, I was going to say, I thought...
Unfortunately, here in Kansas,
it's not as copious as corn is, huh?
No, and I wish I was celebrating, but I'm going to have to be a spectator this year, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just seeing, I don't know if we're going out on D Live. I don't think it is yet.
No, we are.
Are we?
Going out.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, man. You got Scotty on point there, dude.
Excellent. So that's right. We're not just on here. We're on D Live as well. And I was watching PewDiePie the other day, giving away yet more Lionel points. So that was quite cool. So yeah, if you want to check us out over there, chuck us some lemons, you know, whatever you want to do over there. I still haven't got the hang of D Live, but it's looking pretty cool, guys. I'm enjoying being there. And obviously, right, if you want to use Popeye's beard, I see Radchick, Popeye's better half in the chat room. Big shout out to you. Obviously, the far better looking part of that dynamic duo. And hopefully Popeye isn't listening to that. Well, hopefully he is. He might join us.
No, yes, I just found out something. No, seriously.
Come on, tell us, dude. Tell us.
This is privileged information, but I'm going to put it out there anyway, because you know how our buddy is, and of course, when a neighbor needed help, when somebody was in trouble in the neighborhood,
who are you going to call, Popeye?
Yeah, it was like, seriously. He went out in his backyard. He grabbed one of his papayas. It's not, the whole spinach thing is not true. It's papayas down in Florida. Got one of his papayas, bit into it, did the whole ding, ding, ding. Next thing you know, he's out trying to put his neighbor's car out because it was on fire.
No.
Yeah, so that's where he's at. Otherwise, he'd probably be here.
Whoa, man. There's never a dull moment with the beard, is there?
I'm telling you, no cape or anything. He doesn't need that shit.
But he was a firefighter, wasn't he? So he would have some experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in the Coast Guard. He never lets you forget he was in the Coast Guard as well.
Oh, Jesus, no, he doesn't.
So folks, if you want your own Popeye beard, not actual physical one, but you can join the channel here. You just click join below the video, and that gives you a membership. And that gets you all the cool emojis. So you get Popeye's beard.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What's happening, Joe?
Christina just said give him 15 minutes to clean up.
Oh, no.
I'm sure we'll get the whole rundown on what happened.
We will get a play-by-play of what happened today.
Absolutely. And, so many other ways to support the stream before we get going, because we've got a few things to talk about. Can't you wait to hear Popeye's take on the black hole story? We're going to get into more of that. Joe's looking boisterous tonight. Scott is on wild form.
Hold on. 90 kid in D Live just donated 4 lemons.
Whoa, 4 lemons it is.
I was watching a kid over there the other day. Anytime people were donating him lemons, he was literally eating real lemons. He was up to 27, dude. That's got to make you ill, man.
90 kids said, I've created a little following army here on D Live. So you're getting a following building up on D Live, Kev.
Very nice, very nice.
Well, I'm just actually messaging the family. We're going to Roslyn tomorrow. We'll take a look at Roslyn in a little bit. But they're tuned in right now, so a big shout out to everyone
so up take some pictures.
Up there, Joe, they still live in caves and shit. They go around on horses and carts. Yeah.
That's where the whole Jeep thing came from, right?
Yeah. Big time, dude.
Yeah, that was it.
Big time. We've got a new member. So we're going to have this coming flashing up on the screen soon. No, absolutely fantastic. Now you can enjoy Popeye's beard. That sounds wrong. That sounds a bit, bit.
I don't want this to come off as gay at all, but he really does have the softest beard hair that you could ever imagine. It
is quite an immaculate beard, I must say.
Yeah. We'll give a shout out to some in the chat. We've got Dodger in there. We've got Nana 78. We've got Wade the Canadian, One Polynation, Glow 2. Keep the videos coming, and we'll try and shout out more as they come in. I've seen Hannah Bananas in there as well. Cracking name. See a lot of the Uni Rock crowd over here, and me always hanging out with Uni Rock. So yeah, going to be a good laugh tonight. We've got some stories to get into. There we go. 78. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to start with the black hole, boys.
The black hole.
And before we do that, Diligent in D Live just donated 2 more lemons.
See,
2 more lemons, man. Pucker up.
You are like the D Live dude, Scotty. You like it over there, don't you?
Yes. So that because you got to show them some love, man.
Yeah, man.
You guys are handling the YouTube fans, and I got to show some love to the D Live fans.
Good,
so.
That's good, and I like this.
Absolutely,
this is good.
I know we've got 100 in here, and now we've got probably a story that's going to split the chat room right down the middle. The black hole. So this is this picture of the first black hole, folks. This is what they were all singing and dancing about. And this thing's 800 million miles across or something ridiculous. We'll get into that in a moment. But of course, as with anything, and we have to really think about this when it's anything to do with space, because of NASA and because of the trickery and the tomfoolery they've pulled over the years, rightly people question everything. Now,
what trickery?
Exactly, Joe. What trickery? No shenanigans from NASA, right? Well,
never.
On this flip side of that, I do think this image, right, I think it's pretty much what they tell us. Now, that being said, you can call it a black hole. You can call it anything you like. It's a phenomenal area within space where things go a bit kind of crazy. So we'll call it a black hole. Oh, Martha. Absolutely fantastic. You get. I need to change that zombie. That's really. It's not very apt, for somebody donating over there. But thank you very much. But Joe's laughing because I've got a zombie running about. Listen, you're lucky, dude. Did you see the thumbnail for today? You make such a cool astronaut, man. So talk to us, Joe. Do you think the black hole, man? Do you think it's real? What do you think? Do you think everything is as they're telling us?
I think they're real.
Yep.
I do. I really do think they're real. I think there's more to them than what we certainly know about them. We know very little about them. That's for sure. Seems like different generations of humanity. I mean, like different versions, different eras, if you will, of human existence knew more about these things than we did or do now. Enoch wrote extensively about them, called them the prisons of the dark ones. So I don't know, man. To me, not even light can escape it. That's a pretty good prison. I'm thinking, and if that in fact is, and then you take a look at what we're doing at CERN, you wonder if they can unleash something by maybe messing up and creating a doorway for these things to escape. I don't know, but there's certainly more to them. They're certainly real.
Oh, there's definitely something there. I mean, there's something happening in these parts of space, whether you go along with the physics that goes along with a black hole that's out there, or you've got some other idea. Everything's on the table, right? And we hear this prison thing a lot, working with Anthony Patch. He used to talk about, the black holes and prisons and all these kind of demonic hordes been kept in there. Who knows? Who absolutely knows? We've got other stories.
I'm going to try and pull up, while you're doing that, I'll try and pull up some of the ancient writings of Enoch to see if I can.
No problem. But Scott, you think of this, man, right? Because last night, for people looking at this image, and I know people will say, well, it's nothing, there's no black holes there. That's cool. But what they're telling us is this light that we're seeing is like radio frequencies of gamma rays and X-rays that get thrown off when these atoms are going at light speed, Scott, right? And we compared it last night on Freaky Friday to what happens at a particle accelerator. So after we got off the show last night, I was thinking more about it. We were talking about how it could lead to one universe or another universe. Just speculating, obviously. Even wormholes. And here we are now. We've got CERN firing up as powerful as it ever has. Yes, it's closed and they're going to do upgrades. I get that. We're also now getting to see our first vision or our first images of a black hole right at the same time. And again, putting two and two together, hitting 5 here, Scott. Space Force comes into existence. You've got Asgardia, that kind of satellite kind of nation that's in near Earth orbit with all these kind of digital people on it. Something weird going on. That's what I'm saying, dude. And I'm wondering if these things are more like doorways, like we were kind of throwing about last night.
I believe that they're gateways into another universe. You talked yesterday about the theory that was proposed about that, right? And I mean, it makes sense to me. Physics and mathematics completely break down once you enter one of these things. Once you reach the singularity, there's physicists and mathematicians can't work out what is actually occurring within a singularity. It's like this enigma. They just don't know. And so I believe what that is once you reach the singularity, you're thrust out the other end. You're compressed down to some kind of uncalculable compression ratio or something, and then you're ejected out the other end. And so it's kind of like an hourglass, if you want to think of it that way, the shape, you know what I mean, where everything is funneled into a very tight point in the middle, and then it opens back up at the other end. That's kind of how I envision what a black hole is. You go in, you reach the singularity, and then it explodes back out on the other end, and you're in another universe. And I just think it's wild to think about. You were talking about, was it the accretion disk?
Yeah.
I believe, is that what that's good? Yeah, that rotates around the black hole, and that literally is a particle accelerator, because that accretion disk is moving at the speed of light pretty much. And those are all those are all particles, light particles, just rocketing around this black hole and colliding with each other. And, just probably the kind of crazy physics that's occurring just within the accretion disk, let alone inside the black hole, is probably extremely crazy.
Oh, man, can you imagine? Like, if you could do that, that'd be an unbelievable experience, I'd have to imagine. Mind-bending, to say the least.
And so what I was kind of thinking about yesterday is, if you wanted to travel to another universe, what if you put, say, particles on a craft or something that were quantumly entangled somewhere else, and you just sent that craft through a black hole?
Yeah, but would the same rules apply in that other universe?
I mean, who knows? As far as we know, I mean, quantum entanglement basically means that two particles are entangled, and
in this universe,
in time or whatever, distance doesn't matter. It's an instantaneous thing. So if you were to send something like that through a black hole, would that still apply?
I don't know, because that universe could be dealing with different laws, and
because that's always been the language, hasn't it? It like be instantaneous with anything anywhere in this universe. So it makes you wonder, does it like cut off the connection?
Yeah,
Well, have you found
wall?
Did you find? Is it an ice wall, Joe? Are we just in a snow dome?
A snow dome? Where?
Down at 420 today, recognised by one of the listeners, or used to be a listener to the show, right? Used to be. And do you know what stopped him listening to the Kev Baker show? Because I didn't go down the flat Earth road. So, but you see, we had a nice little chat. We had a Glasgow Green, very good interaction, but bit of a laugh, because he says, yeah, you used to make fun of that flat Earth stuff. So I kind of just backed away. But, it just shows we were able to get along. No fisticuffs, all good. But yeah, Flat Earth lost me a listener, dude.
Fun of it. I don't know.
It lost me a listener, man. Can you believe it?
Yeah, oh no, it's cool, man. That's great. But, I think having differences of opinion should never cause conflict in that way. If we respect one another and kind of love each other, we can have civil discourse.
Oh, come on, it's hard to love each other sometimes. There's some people you just want to give a good slap in the face.
We don't have to be products of the echo chambers that are built in social media. We can still be humans and interact that way.
Oh, come on, Joe. I want to read out Q posts tonight. You mean I can't read out the Q posts? Oh, come on, Joe.
Please do.
Hell no. We'll have something funnier than that. We'll look at the top Q tweets. Myself and Scott had a little look at them earlier, and it's comedy gold. Really? Yeah, it's comedy gold, Joe. We'll get to that later, right? Because
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all you can say is wow. But our next one, right? So the black holes. Did you find Enoch? Because if not, I've got 5 other things they could be. Go for it then, man.
Okay, so listen to this. This is a post from hubpages.com, and it gets into, this is called The Book of Enoch's Secrets, Black Holes and Revelations Revealed. Pretty interesting, but this is the interpretation I was talking about, dealing with black holes or making this connection. It says Enoch, the 7th from Adam and great grandfather of Noah, is the builder and the first decipherer, I should say, of the codes of heaven, the mysteries and language of God. In the Book of Enoch, left out of the Bible by religious organizations, is hidden a message about biblical prophecy. It's written for the people of the end times, where astronomers could verify the information for truth. Inside the Book of Enoch is information about stars, galaxies, and black holes. This book contains a code and a key set to understand how to decode the message given from God about revelations. We must unlock the truth. If you read the book of Jude, it says 1st and 2nd Peter, you'll see that much of the message is clues on how to decode it. And when you read them, look at the similarities of the words used. He says they're almost identical. Let's see, what else does it say? The problem is that the Book of Enoch, along with many other books, were not added to the Bible or left out, so many people haven't read it. And it's so true, because if you look at the extra biblical texts that were not included in the canon, there's some very important stuff.
See, when I found that out, Joe, that should worry people, when there's been things omitted and a group of people getting together to say, no, this can go in, that can go in. There's problems afoot, right?
Yeah, because you always end up having, it ends up being like the I know what's best for you. And you have to understand this too, that none of those books were written at the same time in the same place. They're all just collections of written material by enlightened or special people. And here's some interesting things about Enoch. Enoch lived 365 years, 88 days, and 9 hours. 365.242 years, which, by the way, is the same number of a day there is in a year.
The only person I can think who comes close to that, or looks like they come close to that, has to be Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, totally. Now, Enoch walked with God and then was taken up the same as Elijah. There's very few people in history that were directly translated up to heaven. Elijah was one, Enoch was another, and Moses was the 3 that I know outside of Jesus. And if there's any others, it just wasn't documented. And they never experienced death. So this is what Hebrews 11:5 says. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death and was not found, because God had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God. The keys of Enoch are sound keys, said to be sound frequencies for chanting to receive healing and spirituality and become one with God. Interestingly, there are 88 keys on a piano and a 9th being a clue to some kind of code or order around the number 9, which we know to be a very significant number in numerology. In ancient times, when the people looked to the sky, they saw 88 constellations. And today, the International Astronomical Union divides the sky into 88 sections. So the Book of Enoch also claims that the constellations were revealed by an angel to the ancient prophet Enoch. And the angel then taught Enoch all the workings of heaven, the moon, the sun, and the earth. And he wrote it down on clay tablets. And according to the story, he hid them safely before he was taken by God, which a lot of people say was hidden in the Sphinx, in the Hall of Records, and also in the Great Pyramid, which is some archaeologists say could have been built by Enoch with knowledge sent down by God to him to build it. Because if you take a look at the pyramids, you definitely get the sense, especially if you've been there, and I actually got the chance to climb it. I can tell you that thing was not made by people with brass saws and hammers. It just was not done that way.
And then, Joe, on top of that, the fact that so much is encoded into it, you know, all the mathematics that's in there, you know, it's just, it's beyond anything, I think. I'm not putting us down, but I don't think we can manage that, you know.
I don't know. Well, not without help. No doubt. And then the other thing you have to kind of take into consideration is that we never was able to match it again. So, like, for example, we have the Empire State Building, right? And then we had the Twin Towers. And then we had the Taipei Twin Towers, or whatever the heck that's called over in Taipei. And then we built the Burj Khalifa. And you can see a natural progression in technology as it progresses, as it advances. But we were never able to do that again. We can't even today duplicate the mortar that they used. We don't have the technology. You know, the level of engineering that it took to build the pyramids is unprecedented. We couldn't build that today if we wanted to.
Yeah, and actually, Christopher Everard has done a lot of really good research on, like, the type of concrete and, like you said, the mortar that they were using at the time. And it's like stuff that we can't even replicate. We can't even figure out how they did it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think personally that information is what probably the Templars and everybody took, right? It may have even been moved to the Library of Alexandria, and then when that was destroyed, it could have been destroyed with it. I don't know.
Who knows what we lost with that, Joe?
What's that?
Who knows what we all lost there, and who knows what's still under the Vatican, do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know. Or what the Templars took with them, you know, and where they stashed it. Could Oak Island have all that? Who knows?
Oh,
you know,
I do think Oak Island comes into play when you're talking about this stuff, dude. I really do.
Yeah, Sumerian tablets, right? So you look at the ancient Sumerians. Out of all the tablets they have in the museums and in academia everywhere, only 20% of them have been translated. So what do they have on them that we don't know or haven't read and figured out yet? You know?
But you were talking about the Keys of Enoch, right?
Yeah.
And tomorrow, obviously, going to Roslyn. And you've got to think, well, it makes me think of all of these carvings that are in the roof of Roslyn that are basically cymatic patterns, and they relate to, you know, musical notes. You know, what exactly were they trying to encode in there? Because that's too elaborate just to have done it for a laugh, Joe. Do you know what I mean? They didn't just think, right, let's do these 216 carvings then just for the hell of it. So if you knew what you were really looking there, and you can see some of the patterns in there, not very well right enough, but it's like a swirl. But cymatics, we've talked about that before. I mean, that's almost like a musical almost a message in frequency then? What does it unlock?
Well, look at what they talk about with the Great Pyramid. They say it's tuned. You ever notice that? Like a lot of research says, researchers have taken like frequency and put it in there, and it resonates at certain frequencies. And then you take a look at what they talked about building it on ley lines, and maybe that helped it oscillate at a certain frequency. You know, could it have opened up like you say, these keys of Enoch open up the universe, open up doorways? Is that how they did Stargates?
There, we're getting into it. But Scotty, take us to D Live, man. What's happening? How many lemons are eating this time?
It's the chat's getting kind of crazy in D Live.
Let me check D Live. Whoa, Uni Rach is in there. Holy hell. That's like streaming royalty, you know? Absolutely, yeah. Better get my hair done now. Yeah.
We've got a Uni Rock. I don't think the Uni Rock, but that's Uni RACH.
Uni Rach, yep.
Yeah, Uni Rach has already donated 4 lemons.
Awesome, man. I'm never eating as many lemons as we get donated, by the way. Just get that idea right out your head right now. No lemon eating on the Kev Baker show. Not this week, anyway. Maybe we can get Joe to do it. He looks like he likes a good lemon, doesn't he, Scott?
Yes, I like a good lemon.
You are a good lemon, Joe.
And Riverwind Radio has come in and donated a lemon. And I must apologize to Riverwind. I misgendered Riverwind last time and said she was a he. So I apologize, Riverwind.
Dude, you should be like in social media purgatory for shit like that, man.
Yes.
How dare you not know?
Donated 3 lemons.
Dodger, how dare you not know what one of the 47 genders somebody was or wasn't that day? How dare you? You assumer, you. Hashtag Scott too.
Yeah.
But boys, come on, boys. I'm going to Roslyn tomorrow now that I've mentioned it. Come on, you must be a bit envious. That's like Templar, Oak Island type woo, man. On Easter Sunday of all days, man. Come on.
So what do you get to do at Roslyn anyway?
Well, you see, usually you get a tour, but it's going to be like Da Vinci Code when I'm there. I'm going to go undercover and things. And
how does one go undercover at Roslyn? I mean, do they have like security, or is it like wide open, or what?
Whoa, hey, hold on. We've got donated something more than a lemon. We've been donated an ice cream.
Whoa. What's an ice cream?
7. An ice cream is 10 lemons.
Whoa.
Very nice.
Holy heck, I'm liking that D Live, you know. Yeah. Loving it. Here we go, Roslyn Chapel. Let's bring it up here. Let's bring it up. Let's have a look, boys. Look at this place, man.
What an amazing place.
Yeah.
Roslyn Chapel, the more I look into it, like I never really looked into it. So when was it just matched with an ice cream? It's getting a little wild in D Live right now, my friend.
Wow. It's like a dessert auction.
It is.
Yep. If we go, hang on, I'll bring it up here.
How old is Roslyn Chapel?
If we look at this, I had this up the other night and it had Whistle's like family timeline on it. Okay. So if we bring this up and we go to, here it is here. No, that's not it.
Amazing architecture, man.
Yeah, it truly is. There was a period in England and Scotland and Ireland of like unprecedented church building. And that's kind of where, when you talk about Notre Dame, that was done at a period of like, it's like a Renaissance period for church building. And there was just some amazing structures built.
It was actually right before the plague and before everything descended into the Dark Ages. You're right, Joe. There was almost this period of like a Renaissance of Gothic cathedral building and stuff like that. And then once the plague kicked in and the Dark Ages kicked in, it all just kind of came to a halt until the Renaissance that we know came about.
Hang on, boys.
Making me laugh. 2 hearts lemon soft ice cream.
Excellent for making me laugh. Excellent. We got. I don't know if that came through, but I heard it in my ear. I think my audio's a bit knackered, but big shout out. I think that's from heaven. Oh, that absolutely awesome. And we got love hearts and another lemon and an ice cream. Can you believe that?
It looks like Popeye's trying to reach out to you, dude.
Okay, hang on. This is where it all goes wrong now. I've got to reshape cameras for the beard. You know what I mean?
I know.
Here we go.
Everything. Oh boy, look at this. Everything's all messed up.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it fixed in a moment. It's okay. We'll get it fixed, folks. We'll you know.
This is on the fly. I like this.
Bear with us, folks. Right, bear with us. Right, get us. We'll turn this up for you. Definitely something wrong with my audio. There we go. Now then, if I go here.
Is he not picking up?
It says he's unavailable.
It says he's available.
Try adding him again. Just there he is. There he is.
There he is.
But we need him to get his camera on now. Here we go. Popeye. We'll be back in a second, folks. I know you can hear us. It's not like I don't think that we're... No hot mic. No hot mic. We know the score. We know the score.
What'd you do to Scotty? Now look at this. Oh my God, this is awful.
I done nothing to Scotty. People, I done nothing. Joe Joseph's just been a troublemaker. Don't listen to him. We'll be back in a little moment, you know.
Oh my God, that's awful. Don't show up that.
Oh. You ass, Joe. Joe, put your vajankle away, Joe. Come on, man. This isn't the night for the vajankle. Dear Lord.
What's up, you tards?
Hey, you're live, Popeye. Just so you know, it's a hot mic and Joe's got his vajankle out. Nobody can see it yet, though.
You can see it right now.
Put your cam on,
That's
Popeye.
why Joe's got that look on his face right now.
Come on, Popeye. Get that camera on it. There's Scott.
There's no cam today. Oh. My studio is absolutely ripped apart. I'm lucky I even have my microphone still set up. I was actually disassembling everything, and this is the last thing I have set up is my board, my mic, and the laptop hooked to my broadcasting setup. So,
okay, 2 secs. I'll just get your gorgeous picture. I'm tempted to put in the picture of the statue for you, but it'll probably get.
Sorry. Yeah,
no. I wouldn't do that.
Picture,
would I do that to you, Popeye? You know I love you, man. Come on, dude.
Yes, you would do that to me, you bastard.
People, don't listen to him. Yay.
You see, Joe knows you'd do it. So.
No, I wouldn't do it, dude. Not at all. I'm not like that, man. Everybody thinks it, but no, I'm not like that. It's Joe that's like that. He's a bully.
Joe's actually like the evil seed in the universe, and he's the force behind a lot of shit that happens, and then like everybody else gets blamed for it. Joe's like that magic.
Where the hell? You see, you're a man of mystery. Where have I put your picture, man of mystery?
A man of mystery. I'm in the black hole, that's why.
Hold on.
I'm broadcasting from inside an Einstein-Rosen right now.
20th. Enlighten us about the Hellfire Club.
Oh, the Hellfire Club. We can definitely get into that in just a moment.
Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, the Hellfire Club is a little get-together that Joe has at his... I'm sorry, wrong group.
We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Don't panic. We're just getting reset up here because, you know, the beard arrived and knocked absolutely everything off.
My beard.
What's going on in the chat, man?
Up, sorry.
Lopez and Joe. Ozzy and Zach here winking face.
Hey, Ozzy.
Hey.
G'day, mate. I love the Australians, man. They're so damned cool. Hang on, right. We're almost there, folks. I just need Popeye's picture. Popeye. And then we'll be back. Just like that.
I'm glad I could come in and jack everything completely up on your Saturday broadcast.
It's okay. It's okay, dude. It's okay. It's okay. I'm used to it with Joe Joseph, but you can do that.
It's amazing you used the word jack as I'm using my vajankle over here.
Oh, Joe, Joe Joseph.
Have you ever shown your new listeners what a vajankle is, Kev?
No.
Actually, Kev, we're gonna get.
Here we go.
into
Here we
that
go,
later,
folks. We're
because
coming back. We're coming back. There we go. There we go, guys. See, all good. All good in the hood. So, Popeye, what's happening? I'll turn this music off, man. It's crazy. There we go. What's happening, Popeye?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Is that our theme music?
No, it's because it's because like Article 13's passed.
And so we're floating around the event horizon right now.
Yeah, Article 13's passed over here, so I don't know what I can and can't use. So what I do is I just use really, really safe stuff. And that was given to me by a listener, Rob
Sorry, that
Pappin.
frequency was copyrighted. You can't use it.
Yeah, don't say that, dude. Don't even joke about that shit, man.
I know.
Yeah, so what's been happening,
The first
Bob?
rule of Copyright Club is you don't joke about
And
Copyright Strike Club.
And don't have Popeye on your broadcast because you'll instantly get blacklisted.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, I don't know if I informed you of this yet, Popeye, but the algorithm doesn't like you, dude.
You think?
We've done like how many? Maybe 4 or 5 of these now. And the first one, you know, the monetization, the algorithm said, yeah, good to go. But ever since then, the pop has been persona non grata. Yep.
Oh, did I offend the algorithm? Gee, I'm sorry.
It would seem so. It would seem so.
How many channels have you lost over time?
I've lost count. It's at 6 channels terminated, and I still have my other channels, but they get screwed with. In fact, I just got another warning from them the other day. They blocked another one of my videos, and it's funny. One of them was all about like your true power defined. So one of the shows I did where I spent like 2 hours getting into people's own personal power and how to break out of the matrix and everything. It's one of my favorite broadcasts I've ever done over all the years I did radio. And it was memory hold because it supposedly violated community guidelines. Somebody went and bitched and reported my video to YouTube for something. It doesn't even tell me what I supposedly did or offended anybody. So it's bullshit. And every day every couple days I'll get 2 or 3 of them. I'll either get a copyright strike or I get a community guideline strike. And they're like, somebody complained to us and we reviewed it and we stand by our decision because, your videos, it talks about mean stuff. A video I did debunking Rachel Maddow and her attacks on conspiracy theories.
We do have
attacked.
a way about us when it comes to speaking about her.
Yeah, well,
before you turned up, Popeye, right? Do you know what we were getting into? You'll like this one, man. Rosalind Chapel, dude.
Yeah, man.
Bit of Rosalind Chapel, because I'm going there tomorrow. So I pulled up the timeline of this because Joe was asking all about it.
Wait, are you going there for a special ceremony?
I can't tell anyone because if I'd done that, I'd have to kill you because I'm part of like that non-secret society. Or am I? Who knows? It's a conspiracy for everyone out there to decide whether I am or whether I amn't.
Wait,
I'll start throwing up symbols and things. It's a Kev-spiracy.
It's a Kev-spiracy?
It is, dude. But it says here, dedicated in 1450 as the Collegiate or Collegiate Chapel of St. Matthew, William St. Clair, Johnny Whistle's ancestor, founded this chapel for his family with a staff of a provost, 6 prebendaries. Joe, were you one of them, a prebender? Just asking.
What is the prebender?
I have no... He's probably the cousin of Harbinger or Harbender.
I got it. Okay.
All right, and 2 coisters. Collegiate.
Like
what is that? Collegiate? I can't even say that word. Chapels like this were intended to pray for the soul of the founder and to spread intellectual and spiritual knowledge. Rosalind's extraordinary architecture and carvings have also inspired generations and meant its fame has endured over the centuries. So that was in 1446. That's when it was put together, Joe.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. And I know these chapels, like they said, Notre Dame's cathedral took just about 100 years to build. So you're talking levels of architecture and artistry that are just, really at the pinnacle of human capability, and just, you're talking, the very tip top level talent to do this kind of stuff, especially at that time. So Rosslyn Chapel, how did the Templars get involved with Rosslyn Chapel?
Because when they came over here, remember when they started getting persecuted in France? It was Jacques de Molay, he was the head of them, and they were getting rounded up because they said they were basically being blasphemous, or they'd done something against the church anyway. And of course, he met a fiery death. But yet a lot of them escaped, and some of them came to Scotland. That's where we get Rosslyn. Last time I was home, I was speaking to my stepdad, and he is or was one of the Freemasons, no big high level, anything like that. But he just throws into the conversation, the Freemasons, they stopped off in Orkney, and that's like islands up at the north of Scotland, and then just nonchalantly threw out there and headed over to Nova Scotia. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute here, I've been watching like Oak Island for years, and now you throw this at me like you've known this forever. And of course,
they found Templar markings in the United States, in America, that predate the first colonies here and the first settlers. So, just saying. I don't think the Pilgrims were the first ones here. And the idea that Columbus accidentally stumbled upon this land is wrong. It's incorrect, and it's misinformation that's been passed down on purpose through the generations. Michael Tessarion has talked about this before. The Queen of Spain and the royal family of Spain, when they sent Columbus over here, right, they already knew what was going on. They knew this land existed. The story that, Columbus bumped into it and he called it India because of, he thought he called them Indians because he thought he was in India. That's a lie. That's not a correct story at all.
Popeye's going to tell me Santa's not true next.
They sent him over here to colonize it. That's what they were doing.
Next, you're going to tell me Santa's not true, Popeye.
I know, Santa's not. The Easter Bunny, though, is real. By the way, can I point out a biological issue I have with Easter?
My biological issue is I can hardly see because I'm that stoned tonight.
Well, that's a good biological issue to have. I have a biological issue though with Easter. I mean, I'm not attacking religion or anything else. I just want to point out that.
No, would you please?
Against Popeye's eggs in a twist.
Yeah, eggs and bunnies don't go together. Just saying.
You mean rabbits don't have eggs?
No. Trust me, I live in the rabbit hole.
I will bet you.
I know rabbits ain't got no eggs.
I will bet you that somebody took a CRISPR kit at some point in time and made a rabbit lay an egg. I'm just saying, it's probably happened.
Yeah. See, you've thrown down the gauntlet, Popeye. Now someone's going to take that up as a challenge.
And then
someone's going to be like, wait, I'll make a rabbit come out of an egg. Watch this.
Apex TV then took said rabbit, stole it from the laboratory it was created, and took it back to ancient Mesopotamia, where the whole lore began, if you will. So actually, Apex TV was behind it all. I know it because I read it in the Express.
So what you're saying is we have a time-traveling entertainment industry that created.
Absolutely. Popeye, it's ridiculous, man. You'll be on my camp with this. We both like the concept of time travel. And there's this shower of charlatans down in Australia who every couple of days release a new time traveler that just happens to go to their YouTube channel. So they've got the only working time machine in the world. But there's people from like the year 6000 with their face blanked out. Now, I don't give a shit, man. Nobody's going to recognize you you're from the year 6000, right? And it pisses me off, and Joe brings it up every week, dude. Every week, man.
I can't help it.
Wait, you mean Zork from the year 3550 isn't real? Just because his face is blurred out? No, I know, dude. It's look, I'm going to put this out there for your listeners. If somebody is on a YouTube channel, they have a YouTube channel, and they have like, I don't know, maybe 3,000-4,000 followers, listeners, subscribers, whatever you want to call them at the most. And they claim to be connected to somebody from, the Pleiades system, or somebody that's working with the Archons, or
the
time
Nordics,
traveler, or
the Nordics.
Watchers. They're full of shit.
Or the blue chickens. What about the blue chickens?
I mean, come on.
It's the blue chickens, man.
Don't get me wrong. I believe in ancient Sumer. In a lot of the things that they talked about in their creation stories. I believe the tales of the Anunnaki. That I think there's more to it than just myth. I think a lot of the stories of gods get mixed up with interdimensional traveling beings or aliens or whatever, which are going to be one and the same, because if you have the technology to traverse space, you're going to have to be able to traverse interdimensional travel, because that would be the fastest way. The fastest way to get from A to B. We always think it's a single line. It's the whole point of the theory of the Einstein-Rosen bridge, going back to the black holes, which I think a black hole is a natural occurring Einstein-Rosen bridge, or a wormhole, and that our efforts and the things that we do with technology, and like you were saying, Scott, it acts as a particle accelerator. Okay. And it's a wormhole, and the entrance, we'll say, is the particle accelerator. Everything's spinning faster and faster and faster and faster.
Cannon. Yeah.
Well, we have to mimic that with technology, because that's what we are. But again, micro, macro, it's a fractal pattern. It happens in nature, and we as humans are picking up on that with our bodies, because we're antenna, sending and receiving, and we're picking up on that frequency, and we're creating that in a physical manifestation with actually creating the technology that makes this stuff happen. But I believe a black hole is a naturally occurring Einstein-Rosen bridge.
We just had a super chat.
We did. It was somebody saying Zilla, 10,000 BC to 24,000 BC, presumed. But there was something else came up in the chat that I liked. What about the Vikings making it to North America, boys? I think that's definitely one, eh?
You have to imagine that they did, and then, of course, you've got the Atlanteans. The Atlanteans, by far, they were there freaking thousands of years before Columbus.
Dude, what about the people of the sea?
That's what I'm saying.
There's an actual group. There's a mysterious group of people called the people of the sea. There's a couple books written about them. I've spent a lot of time in my
in your rabbit
hiatus from right, yeah. Very funny, Joe. I spent a lot of time in my hiatus researching ancient cultures and societies, because you can learn. We have to learn. The future can be decoded from understanding the past and understanding events of the past, right? That's really what we do when we tell people hidden history and things like that. So I've been researching heavily a lot of ancient cultures and societies, everything from the Romans, the Greeks, going all the way back, the beginning of everything, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. I've just been taking as much info and studying as much as I can. And it's funny, because all of these ancient cultures, all this stuff, they pretty much all have beliefs in the same things. And it's all, if you looked at it from a science perspective, interdimensional space travelers that, came here with knowledge. And that I don't honestly think that what we're told today is correct. There's so many different societies over the thousands and thousands and thousands of years that have had technology that was either on par with us or even in some cases better. So to believe that the Vikings came, when people are like, no, that's not true. No, it is true. The Vikings came, the Templars came. Columbus wasn't the first one here. Okay. The Native Americans that resided here, or I should say the natives that resided here, had interactions with other cultures other than, Columbus and his crew beforehand. So the idea that they discovered America is a lie. The Vikings, like I said, that whoever said that in the chat, on point. Very, very well researched individual you are. Proud of you as a radio show host for doing the research, listener. Keep on that track, whoever you are.
The Vikings were amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah. The way they could navigate the sea with the stars and that wee stone thing they had and shit. Pretty cool, man.
Yeah, and they had really cool gods.
Yeah,
their pantheon of gods was pretty cool.
Yeah, Valhalla.
By the way, I think it's interesting that they call that satellite ring Asgardia.
Hello.
Asgard was where all their gods existed. That's where Thor existed.
I saw the movie. Come on now.
Right. Hey, well, you know the Bifrost, right?
Yeah.
When you see the Bifrost, what's the Bifrost? Like the visual representation when you see it in the movie, it's a fucking wormhole.
Yeah. I'll be right. Yeah, that thing's pretty cool.
How are the ancient Vikings writing about gods flying in between, I guess worlds, or you could call it maybe a dimension? What if Asgard was just another dimension?
Or the world, just like another world at a different point in the universe,
Right. They used the Bifrost as like a wormhole. Poop.
Yeah, and they talk about different realms. They talk about different realms, and so you could possibly conceive that those different realms could be.
Well, even the mythology, the elves, the goblins, the dwarves, all that, dude. I'm convinced that all that was real. It's all real. It all comes from real times and real places.
Look at me, dude. I look like a hobbit.
Absolutely. I think all that stuff was real. You can't tell me that Tolkien didn't have any sort of idea about ancient history. That guy was freaking brilliant.
They just found a hobbit. They found and I'm not talking about some like National Enquirer crap. They actually over the past they've actually found like smaller skeletons of smaller humanoids that are thousands and thousands of years old.
Popeye, that's why I laugh at, man. See, when they dig me up thousands of years from there, they're gonna think there was like this little like tribe of like tiny people.
Oh, those
were their leader. You were their Scottish leader.
Yeah,
you were their
just bury me beside like
2019 version of Braveheart.
Yeah, just bury me beside like a Woody and a G.I. Joe and an Action Man. It's all the same size, Yeah.
Talk about textbook genetic regression, though. I mean, take a look at that shit. What happens to DNA over generations?
Look at yourself if you want to see that, Joe.
Wow.
That's fucked up, dude. When you like insult
firsthand.
Imagine insulting somebody at the genetic level, dude. That's a whole level of shit I've never dealt with, man. Whoa, man. Fucking hell. Damn, dude.
Joe's making genetic jokes and taking genetic swipes at you, Kev.
Are you trying to say I'm so ugly?
It has to be on a scientific level with Kev because he's too smart.
Are you like trying to say there's a whole level of something fucked with me that only CRISPR can fix?
That's right, basically.
Fucking hell, Joe.
But it can be done.
Damn,
it can
dude.
Can I just point out that it's kind of weird that they call it CRISPR?
Yeah, isn't it weird? It's like they named it it's like, what would they do? Open the refrigerator and looked at the drawer down at the bottom that you put the veggies in? Is that basically what they did?
Well, like, are they referring? How in Photoshop, because we all do Photoshop, right? So how you're like, oh, I'm gonna make it just a little bit more crisp. I'm gonna make it. I'm just gonna tweak it just a little bit and make it a little bit more perfect.
Almost like Bob Ross style and shit. Is that what you're saying?
I would totally be down if Bob Ross was the head of the Illuminati and like it was the Bob Ross-Illuminati. I'd be like, all right, I'm in.
Man, Bill Nye.
That guy's cool as F.
Bill Nye is like the chief kind of assassin within their organization. He's kind of cool. He comes and gets you with the bow tie and his science.
Science.
Yeah, man.
Wait, Bill Nye, the not science guy?
Yeah, dude.
Well, he's a late night host guy now, isn't he? Didn't he have like a Netflix series that just was?
There's a TV show called Blind Spot about feds and like nukes going off, action show, and he's actually got a part in that show, dude. He plays himself, funnily enough. Bill Nye, science guy, yeah. Nothing like loving yourself, dude.
Anybody with science? No.
He's probably typecasted at this point. I can't imagine him playing anything else like Bill Nye, action hero. It's not like you saw Arnold Schwarzenegger go and play Mr. Wizard. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
He's actually not like a scientist that worked in like labs or whatever, and then
hey boys, what
he's got a science background.
Only Joe will know what this means because he played like all this kind of stuff when he was a little geek. It says Elder Dragon Fates de Why Not on minds.com. Joe, that sounds like your kind of creepy Dungeons and Dragons stuff when you were young. You know?
I don't know what that means. Sounds like code.
Do you think it is code? Like dragon code? Q code? There's no kill boxes around it, dude. There can't be. It's not Q. There's no kill boxes, man.
Do they do swatting over in the UK? The only reason why I ask is because you did run into that flat earther at the park. and maybe they're plotting their revenge right now.
No, he was a nice guy, dude. He was a nice guy. It's just he parted from KBS because obviously I didn't go down that path,
All part of the game, Kev, until somebody gets swatted.
I don't get getting swatted over here, man. Oh, don't even say that.
The Scottish version of swatting is a little different. What they do is they kick the door in and throw 3 goats in.
Oh. Dude, that sounds like my birthday. What are you talking about, man? Shit. I mean, so where are we going now?
3 really horny and upset, pissed off goats.
That's funny.
So where are we going now, guys? We're going to look at some of the better 420 tweets.
Well, I got Russian news anchor robot sparks propaganda controversy over in Russia.
Is this the good looking guy?
Dude,
hey, can I ask a question?
What is up with that?
Did anybody read the Mueller report? Oh no, because I don't give a shit.
No, we don't give a shit.
Look at this AI news reporter, and tell me that what was their budget cuts or something? Their artists. Look at the guy looks totally wasted.
That's what happens when you design an AI news reporter when you're about 3 vodka bottles in.
I was going to say, he's got 5 o'clock shadow. His eyes are all glassy.
No. This is my buddies in the FSB. They're like, we can't let them see our cutting edge AI, so we'll give them the shit one, and people will just mock it, and they'll think we're so far behind in AI. But really, you're talking about the real deal kicking about over there, Joda.
You know that guy's looking so rough that I bet even Sophia would reject him.
Totally, dude. Totally.
Not even CRISPR could fix that one. Eh? Not CRISPR for him either.
You notice the focus in the media is all of a sudden on this shit called deep fakes.
Oh yeah man.
They're like, people out there with easy to buy software online can make completely convincing fake videos. No. Look, no. None of us have access to that shit. Okay. The only people that have access to that is the government, and they're the ones that designed it. Okay. And for them to be talking about it publicly now and being like, oh, you have to be careful because the guy on YouTube is making deep fake videos. Bullshit. Okay. If they're talking about it, it's because now they're in live action mode with it. The field tests are done. Okay. We know that. Look, who has more power to create a fake video? CNN or a very well funded organization like that, or I'm just using them as an example, or the government or whatever, or some guy in his house that does this, maybe for spare money, or maybe just does this for free because he wants to better the world.
Kremlin Kev does.
Kev's supercomputer that runs the show wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay?
It's just bullshit. It's
Popeye.
Bullshit.
Popeye. Hey, hold on. We're gonna have to correct you because I have the deepfake software and Kev has the deepfake software. Before it really got pulled from the internet and you can't find it anymore, I have it. It was open sourced and it runs off your CUDA cores on your video card. So yes, it can be done. Although
not to the level that I'm talking about, the stuff where they made. I honestly, if it's out there, that means that they released it.
But for YouTube, it just needs to be grainy enough to convince people. You don't need it perfect.
But no, I'm talking about this. Remember? Do you guys remember looking into 9/11? This is why this deep fake thing. I see a lot more to this deep fake. To me, it's a propaganda push. It's so that any video now that you put out saying, "Oh, look, Building 7 collapsed into its own footprint," that's a deep fake video.
I'm glad you said that, because this is sparking a propaganda controversy over in Russia. So basically what they did, this Russian news channel started using a robot to anchor some of its newscast. Alex is his name. He started reporting on Rosia 24 about agriculture and nuclear technology. Now, the robot can only move its head and facial features, but when it's finished, it's going to be able to move its limbs. And it looks like I said, it looks like he's just half in the bag, but Alex has caused some controversy with viewers, saying it spouts propaganda and is a fake news generator. So even people in Russia are like, what are you doing? It's like, at least we know what we got with the human. This guy here, They just think it's a government plant. So I don't know. You know
what I mean is like, okay, so going back like the deep fake video thing, you said you guys have there was software out there before it was quote unquote pulled, right? So if there was software out there, then it was released on purpose, just like they did with the Napster, just like they did with all the sound sharing, music file
Napster,
sharing, all that shit. Yeah, Napster, all that. That if it's out there, that was done on purpose.
Oh hell yeah!
Because there's no way that some dude in his house is going to create, or I mean, I guess I shouldn't say there's no way. There's anything is possible, but why and how would the guy be able to create and when I say deep fake, I mean like if you put up a news broadcast with, say, somebody that's one of these pundits or whatever today that's popular, say somebody made a video with Rachel Maddow, we'll use her as an example, and say she went on and it looks just like her speaking and its mannerisms and everything else. And it's her saying that, yes, 9/11 actually was an inside job, right? Say that was a thing. That video comes out. I honestly don't believe that the consumer market, no matter how good it is, unless you're somebody like Elon Musk or you have a lot of money, and the general like middle class or lower middle class or even low income market cannot afford the computer and the technology and the proper software to create such a fake video. I mean, if they're saying that if your software, Scott, that you guys could download, right? You couldn't make Rachel Maddow appear to say shit. I mean, you could edit stuff, but you can't, you know what I mean? You're not going to actually create Rachel Maddow, whereas you know that the government back in 9/11, going back to 9/11,
is this a challenge?
You remember? Well, no,
a time machine of Apex TV got our back.
You can edit anything. Look, I know I've done video editing. What I'm talking about is the technology, if it's out there in the public hands now, it was done on purpose because we've never, as video editors, had even fucking Hollywood needs CGI, right? They have to create and they have billions and billions of dollars. They're like the only ones that could create something that your brain could conceive as being legitimate. Like when they green screen shit and stuff like that, you need a lot of money for that. What I'm saying is the average guy, unless he's got some billionaire backer, is not going to be sitting in his house doing that. And that's what they're trying to push. They're trying to push that, Scott, you can go at home and create 9/11 and put the video out like it happened, like the collapse of Building 7, but it never happened. That's my point. You can't do that. You don't have that capability. I don't have that capability. Kev doesn't. The only people that would be funded by vast amounts of money because you need the technology does exist for people to get their hands on it. But the average individual isn't going to have it.
Are you doubting the veracity of my hot sex tape with AOC? Is that what you're trying to tell me here, dude? You're trying to say I didn't get hot and horny with AOC?
I actually believe that you had sex with Ocasio-Cortez and Maxine Waters because I know that you have.
Oh, dude!
Ooh.
Wow,
that's right,
man.
That's good on you, Kev. Good on you. That's the way.
That's a real video.
That's taking one for the team. Somebody in the chat room was going to put me in touch with David Wilcock. Please, please, please don't put me in touch with David Wilcock. That's really the last blue chicken nightmare I want to be living right now. Seriously. Yes.
No blue chicken for you?
No blue chicken for me, Joe. I don't dine on blue chicken. I'm like a vegetarian when it comes to blue chicken, dude.
What's the matter, Kev? Don't hate. Don't hate.
I know.
You've had the red dragon on, so why? I mean, why not? Why not just go full bore retard?
Oh, God, have mercy. Are you going to go back there again?
No,
Please,
because
in
fact, listen, if you check my YouTube channel, you can go back and look at all my videos, and it doesn't exist. It never happened. It actually never happened. So I don't know what you're talking about. It's a Mandela effect.
Kev.
Here, I'll put it in the chat room for you as soon as I can find it here because, I found a picture of that time where you interviewed the Red Dragon.
Oh no, dude! Come on, man.
I think I downloaded that and saved it because it was one of my favorite KBS shows.
Mr. Ambassador.
That was one of your favorite ones?
Dear
Yes,
Lord.
I think that's one of my favorite episodes of KVS. I found it was one of the most informative.
Lee Veltman, I will give you a toe right up the arse. I see you laughing in the chat room. No wonder, dude. No wonder, man. Tell you. Oh, come on, Joe. That's just wrong.
Oh, that was the Red Dragon.
No, that was not the Red Dragon, dude. Look, see, that's not the Red Dragon. Definitely not.
That is the Red Dragon. Remember, he was into that stuff.
Oh, wrong. So wrong.
So I don't want to hear it about the Red Dragon. I mean, let's not ever bring that up again, please.
It was mentioned in the chat. So
Is it because Joe was the one that convinced you to have him on? Why Joe doesn't want to talk about it?
He said to me, you know, Kev, I just don't have the time to do it. This guy's absolutely brilliant. He might be like a great way to launch your show.
Oh my God.
And it was back when I was into Coast to Coast.
I had a dent in my forehead for 3 months because of that whole Red Dragon escapade. It was awful. Oh, I hope it never happens again.
It was part of the learning curve. It's thanks to things like that where I am today. And things like QAnon don't get by me, you know?
I'm very proud of you, Kev, because from what I understand, Q and the Red Dragon and the White Lotus Society are all working together right now.
And the Yellow Submarine.
Go get them.
Remember that bullshit? Remember the earthquake in D.C. was an underground nuke because the white hats are fighting the black hats. Okay, sure.
Still, it's the same kind of thing, though, isn't it? The good guys are coming after the bad guys. Mass arrests around the corner. Blue chickens at the ice wall.
How long has there been mass arrests coming?
Ever since I got into conspiracy land, there's been mass arrests coming, and usually from David Wilcock.
Yeah, and or the Second Coming by Paul Begley.
Seriously?
Are you serious?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, didn't we see something about that?
Oh yeah, you got something about Easter Sunday, dude. I mean, it is Easter tomorrow, you know.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. The Express, my friends, the Express. Easter 2019. Will Jesus return this Easter? What does the Bible say about the second coming?
Praying Medic the other day said that, you know, Q is probably Jesus because this is, coming back from the dead like that. They're actually connecting that shit, Joe. This is them playing on the...
Come on.
Playing, Scott, did I not show you that shit, Scott? Definitely. I retweeted it and everything, man. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
There's a couple different things that the church says about the second coming. If it's the Catholic Church, it says bring a towel.
Bring a towel.
Oh, dear Lord, man. Holy moly.
So let's hear it. Easter, the Christian festival commemorating the resurrection of Jesus, is here. So what does the Bible say about the second coming of Jesus? Let's see. The idea of the second coming is based on messianic prophecies and is part of most Christian eschatology theories concerning mankind's. Okay, so basically what they're saying is, let's see, no one knows the day or the hour. Okay, very good. So why are we talking about this? I don't understand. Like this, why does there always have to be at these holidays somebody going and saying that the end of the world is coming? Can anybody tell me why that is? Why there has to be that person that does? And don't you think that after a certain amount of people get proven wrong, that they would, I don't know, kind of give it a break for a while?
Hey, at least that dude that was burning Korans every 3 or 4 months up in North Florida took a break.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I do remember.
Yeah.
There's
another moron.
There's a companion article here on the Express saying that Da Vinci predicted that the apocalypse is going to happen on a certain day here. So let's see. What does this say? Let's see. Da Vinci, March 21st, 4006. Okay, there you go.
Didn't
the apocalypse? Okay, what is the apocalypse? Because everybody has a different
Joe,
kind of version of what the apocalypse is. Is it the rapture?
What was that now? Did we just miss a super chat?
Yes.
I think
It says,
super chat.
just a guy. Joe, can you show us your robot lover? Sucky, sucky.
Mercy. I'm not showing anybody my robot lover.
Well, and now you got people out there saying, and I don't know, saying that Nostradamus predicted the fire at Notre Dame, and it's like, I don't know.
I find that you can always make these connections somewhere, somehow. It just, there's always these parallels.
You mean Jesus isn't coming back?
Kev? Have you seen that yet, Kev, where people are saying that Nostradamus predicted the fire at Notre Dame?
Oh, he predicts everything, but doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hitler, yeah. Interesting story, but right. Why not? Did he predict
to be
things?
like the harbinger to, the end of the world or something like that? I don't know. It's like,
you know what happens tomorrow, boys? It's just same as today, same as the day after. It's just another day.
You mean Ishtar?
Yes,
Happy Ishtar.
Yes, I like Ishtar.
Don't tell Mr. Geo that. He'll he doesn't make that conclusion.
What's that?
What's he gonna do? Shut my radio show down?
That's right. Again.
Right. What's he gonna do?
Again.
Twice.
Oh, let's see what else we got in the grab bag here.
So talk to us about Ishtar and Popeye, because I just know it as
all these holidays are all different. I mean,
they're all different reincarnations of the same.
They're all reincarnations of ancient cultures and ancient beliefs. That's why, like I said, it goes back much further, these ancient cultures that none of us have any. I mean, no matter how much you study, I really don't think modern day culture has a very good understanding of a lot of this stuff, and we're force fed a lot of misinformation, and that's one of the reasons why people are so hungry for info. But yeah, Easter, Ishtar. Look at Santa Claus. Why does Santa Claus wear a mitre hat like the Pope?
Because it was stylish at the time.
Well, our version wears a Phrygian cap.
The Phrygian cap, yes.
But interestingly enough, Coca-Cola created the modern day version of Santa Claus.
Rockefeller, or what was it? Rockwell. Norman Rockwell, I think, did. Right? Didn't he? He was the first one to put a Phrygian cap on him.
You're like him, and then Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And they all. But isn't it interesting how these big, all these different groups and companies and individuals, they have connections, higher up the food chain to each other in secret societies and stuff. Isn't it interesting how they're the ones that all created the symbolism? But I'm sure it was only done for marketing purposes. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I just put that up in the chat for you there, Kev. That's my that's how the solar system is. Since we're talking about since we're talking about the black holes and solar system, I just wanted to put that up there. So for everybody, that's how our solar system looks.
I'll see that. I'll put it up for you, Joe. Hang on, give me 2 seconds, man.
I'll give you 2 seconds. There you go. Just get the visual going.
Yeah, give me a chance to me.
What are you doing?
Because that's how that works.
You find anything good, Kev?
No, this Skype's horrible.
I'm looking at Joe's meme. I'm looking at the memes that are being dropped here in the Skype chat.
I put the red dragon picture in there. Right?
By the way, to finish, just because we got sidetracked for a second.
Yeah.
Ishtar was like the goddess of love, war, fertility, right? So it's springtime, right? Fertility. What happens in spring? What do you see nature doing in spring? Right? What do animals do? What are people doing in springtime? They're thawing out. Everyone gets amorous, right?
Yeah.
Lots of babies get made in springtime.
Yeah.
Right? For fertility. So again, a lot of these ancient cultures, and there's more to it. Like I could sit and babble about it, and we could sit and discuss it, but it's people aren't gonna really take it in unless they go do the research. My point is themselves. That's the best way to do it. You can lead the horse to the water, but the horse has to drink. Just do some research, and you'll see. I did.
Well, I want you to see now. Observe the screen. Now,
what you got?
Okay, so look on the screen. If you see there's a map of the solar system, right?
Right. That's exactly how nature works, Joe.
How does that happen?
Because so what happened was God needed a coaster.
Oh.
Right. So there you go.
I see. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
My question is this: Is Earth, if it's flat, is it square? Is it round? Is it kind of not perfectly symmetrical, like
or does it
some
just
pancakes?
Go on an item?
It's merely code within the matrix, Popeye. It's ones and zeros. It's how you decode it, dude. See how I keep everyone happy? It's just kumbaya, everyone. Flat, round, hemorrhoid shaped. Okay, Me and Lee Veltman, myself and Lee Veltman have got a theory that it's shaped like a really dangly hemorrhoid. And people don't seem to like that on the weekend stream. I just kind of don't really care and have a laugh and chill out. Listen, if it's not for you, that's cool. All good and dandy, but this is where we can let our hair down at the weekend, isn't it, guys? My inbox is pinging off the charts, dude. Facebook's going ding, ding, ding. You know?
Oh, I can only imagine.
What can you do?
You getting hated on by your
he does
flat Earth listeners.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you're going to be honest and just not go with the majority, then you're obviously going to rile people from time to time, Popeye. You're going to gain some lovers. You're going to lose some lovers. And
look, what's the one? I'll say it again. It's a psyop. For those of you that don't want to hear it, tough. It's a psyop. It reminds me of how networks that I've been on and seen that were connected to in any way, shape, or form were making an impact, and they were becoming prolific, and then got derailed and sidetracked and infiltrated by this flat Earth bullshit. And it's happening all over. I mean, you look at any type of group, like if you break the alt media down or whatever you want to call it, you break down, I hate the word truthers, but you break them down, you have like all different groups, JFK, 9/11 research, and tons of different topics. Flat Earth has infiltrated everything. And Joe, do you remember an old radio network back in the day that was on at the same time? It was around at the same time that when we were on Orion.
Yeah.
And do you remember that network was growing? It was doing really good. It had a good lineup of hosts. It had an amazing infrastructure. And the guy that ran it had foresight, when it came to like the technical side of it. And like he really built this awesome, for back then. And even now, it would still be pretty amazing little platform. And I think it would have become some sort of alternative media behemoth. But it suddenly got compromised by different shows that came onto the network with different angles, like a show about this or a show about that, show about one thing or another, two totally different types of topics. And within a short period of time, they all became the Jews did everything crowd. And shortly thereafter, within like 6 to 8 months, the network was gone. And it lost all of its power. Well, Flat Earth did the same thing in the same way. And I've watched it destroy radio networks. I've watched it totally derail people and just take them off what they were focused on. And all of a sudden they're like, I have to tell you, the Earth is really flat. We're being lied to. Look, we're being lied to about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't think the Earth being flat is one of them. If you go in an airplane, you can see the curvature yourself. If you've ever flown at like 38,000 feet, I know Neil deGrasse Tyson did a video saying, it's impossible. You can't see the curvature of the Earth. People love that. The flat earthers love to play this clip where Neil deGrasse Tyson is talking about being up in space and the Earth is so big that there's no way that you could see the curve. You'd have to be like much farther out or whatever. Look, people have taken GoPros and their own cameras, mounted it to a balloon, and sent it up into the lower atmosphere, and it's floating around there, right on the border of space, right? Or I should say upper atmosphere, and it's sitting there. And then, it comes back down, they get the GPS location, they pick it up, and you see this video footage. So what you're telling me is that to push this narrative of a fake round planet, the powers that shouldn't be have randomly hired people all over the world to do this, and they've paid bazillions of dollars to change all of the windows in every airplane to be fisheye lenses. No, dude, look, they do a lot of shit and they'll go to a lot of extremes, but for what purpose? What? Tell me why. Explain to me logically and rationally. And I mean, without telling me, well, because in my religion or because in the Bible, stop right there. I said logic and rational, not religion. I'm talking about like scientific. Explain to me how, for any reason, every government on Earth would collude together to convince people that the Earth is actually round and that planets are round. Why? Why? How does that keep control over us? They already exert control through mind control methods, through acts like 9/11, false flag terrorism, things like that, and all other methods of control, just, outright fascist police state tactics. Why would they need to convince everybody that the Earth was round? Everybody already thought it was flat. It makes no sense.
Right.
What makes sense?
That was a psyop, and it actually worked for, I don't know, hundreds of years, and now we're just going back to the way it was for all those other thousands of years. It's flat again. It just
it makes no fucking sense, Joe. Like that's it doesn't make any sense. I mean, look, the government blowing up fucking WTC, the World Trade Center, build Tower 1, Tower 2, and knocking down Building 7. Yeah. That makes sense because you read their own documents a year before. We're rebuilding America's defenses, where it says, "Hey, we need a 9/11, this generation's Pearl Harbor, a 9/11 style attack to unify the country, and we need to change. We have to get out there." Nobody wanted to do it unless they had that kind of attack. So yeah, that makes sense. That's what they needed, but it doesn't make any fucking sense that they'd lie to us and tell us that the Earth is a globe. It makes zilcho zero sense. Absolutely is a batshit crazy idea. Okay. But the problem is it's impregnated every aspect of research. So now it doesn't matter what avenue you look at. There are people even in the anti-nuke community that are like, my God, we're lied to. The Earth is flat. And it's like, no, people, you're scientific.
Yeah, what are you doing? Even it just doesn't make any sense.
It melts my brain. And
I
get it. I get it. I'm not making fun of people for believing it, because people are like, well, don't you look outside the box? Yeah, I do. But use some logic and some rational thinking when looking at this stuff. Don't just blindly do it because some schmuck made and edited a shit. Now, you want to talk about deep fake. You don't even need to push to make this thing so pervasive. They didn't even need to have deep fake videos. They do old school PR. You have somebody that's popular. They put them out there, and you only need one or two people that are controlled, and pretty soon you'll have people they understand. They know that there's people out there that do like zero research, and they'll go on and make a video and be like, "Yeah, the Earth is flat." And some of these people will perpetrate this just to get clicks.
Say it isn't so, Popeye. Say it is not so, man. Come on. Will we have a laugh, boys? Will we have a laugh? Will we go and see what the latest is from QAnon on Twitter?
Oh, let's do it.
Let's do it.
While you do that, I just wanted to say that in Thailand, they had a major marijuana festival on 420. Had visitors on a high, they say. A Buddhist monk fishes out a vial of cannabis oil from his robe and puts a drop under his tongue. One of the many people flocking to a weed festival in northeastern Thailand. So even in Thailand, they're getting into the whole 420 day festivities.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. This is what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I mean Thailand. I get
kind of militant over there.
Yeah, I get like the whole the idea of like being, or I guess the meme of Asian culture, like being very Zen-like, being in touch. Like you'd expect people to actually imbibe cannabis, but no, Thailand's pretty militant, Joe. I'm kind of surprised they're not cutting hands and shit off.
I thought so too.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty encouraging. They say Generation Z will be the ultimate pot consumers. They think that generation is going to be the generation that really kind of is the first one that's.
You're welcome, kid.
Yeah, it's almost like 9/11.
I mentioned the
your
Geos
first
and
your
out.
No,
I missed that.
I think there's been some timeouts in the chat by mistake. I think we got it sorted. Don't worry about it, guys. I think Kristen and Dodger were sorting it in the chat room. And for any mods in there, Kristen and that'll tell you, don't be banning people if they're like just got a contrary or opposing kind of view from us. That's not. Yeah, they know that, but some of the other ones might not know that. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm just trying to reshape a camera before we kind of bring up the. This is funny because we looked earlier on, didn't we, Scott?
9/11 happened, and now 2019, those kids are graduating high school and getting into college or entering the workforce that have never known life like it was before 9/11. And that's pretty interesting that is happening now, that it's been that long. Well, the same can be said with pot. When I was a kid, it was the war on drugs. I mean, it was very hard. You couldn't get that shit. And if you did, it was swag. And there wasn't really any designer strains and things like that like it is now. And it's come such a long way that Generation Z would probably be the first one really to experience the marijuana culture the way it is now. You know what I mean? And not know much different.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Generation Z.
Right, boys, here we go. We're on it. We're on the latest and greatest. Right, this is the top ones coming from QAnon right now. I hate the mainstream media. Liars. This was totally arson. And there's a video here meant to show somebody walking on the roof of Notre Dame. Because, of course, Notre Dame was a cover-up for all of the cabal. They were burning all of the paperwork. There was 2 bodies thrown in there as well, Joe, right? I think
they had bullets. They had bullet holes in them. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. They were just getting rid of that. I think all of the.
How do you see the bullet holes if the bodies are probably incinerated and cooked? It's like, man.
Here we go.
How'd that happen?
Hashtag QAnon. WTF is this? Dumb, and that's not stupid. He's thinking he's found a deep underground military base. It is a bit interesting shape, but it's not the kind of thing we're after. Here we go, boys. Here we go. Fellow patriots, what you're about to learn, then brackets learning, should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control. Open kill brackets, bold lettering, freedom, kill, close the kill brackets. Now, the kill brackets are important, Joe. They're important, okay? That's really, that's code. That's code. Yeah, it's code. I can't tell you what it is, right? The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt. Kill brackets, pure evil. And that's code for Podesta and all those crazy cats, right? Abuse of power that the Hussein administration undertook in joint efforts with domestic and foreign dignitaries. And of course, being a military insider, he decided to use the trending hashtag, where we go one, we go all. Q. There you go, guys.
Man.
Oh man, I'm feeling pretty motivated right now.
Look, here we go. QAnon saved. You see, this is what we were talking about as well. Michelle Obama ordered the Notre Dame kind of burning.
So the Q people have now pretty much. Do you remember DC Comics? Remember the Justice League?
Yeah.
Okay, they had the anti-heroes, like the evil Justice League.
Wasn't that just some of the best?
I forget what the hell I forget what it was called.
Bizarro, and they had
it was like the bad Justice League. So what they're saying is like Michelle Obama
The Legion of
and
Doom.
all of them are in like the deep state, just like anti-bad. I forget what it was like. The bad. Now I have to look it up.
It's the Legion of Doom.
The Legion of Doom. I believe.
Yes, that's what it is. The Legion of Doom. Okay, so we have our own deep state Legion of Doom, is what you're saying?
That's exactly right.
Okay. And Michelle Obama is at what level in the Legion of Doom?
Obviously quite high up if she's going to... She wears the trigger object of a necklace in Burning, Popeye. Burning.
Q.
Wow. You mean like Nelly and Nelson Mandela necklacing? Type with like tires with gas in it? That type necklace?
No, QAnon just dropped a picture of Long Beach Marina in California. Well, that's it then. It's confirmed.
So wait.
It's Q confirmed.
Wait, let me get this straight. Just want to point something out. Land of the free, home of the brave. We should respect each other, be nice to each other. We're America, right? Yeah, America. Fuck yeah.
Killing it.
So are these people that are quote unquote patriots actually saying we should necklace each other? Like I said, Nelson and Winnie Mandela, a freedom fighter, that they're the ones that came up that was a preferred method of theirs. They might not. Well, I shouldn't say they came up with it. That's kind of a CIA technique that's taught to different paramilitaries and stuff. But so
what it was
she wore and they fill it with gasoline and they put it around someone's neck and light it on fire.
That's not what we're talking about. She was wearing a very stylish gold necklace.
Well, what I'm saying is
burning on it.
Are there people?
We're not talking about torture techniques.
Wait a minute though. Here's one of my favorite Q posters.
Are there freedom fighters? Freedom? I'm all about freedom, but like let's take our enemies and put them in FEMA camps and torture them.
Here's one of my favorite Q posters. This is his latest and greatest. I have no doubt in my mind that #QAnon is a legitimate military intelligence operation and that UFOs, and by UFO I mean both extraterrestrial and or secret man-made craft, are in our skies. Now, I'm not going to challenge the fact that there's definitely unidentified things in our skies. However, this is the dude that likes to connect all of it together. The UFO community and the QAnon community. Brings them all in, builds the audience up, shall we say. Or, I could just be cynical, of course.
But
bullshit.
QAnon as a legitimate is there such a thing as legitimate military intelligence? Didn't Megadeth get it right, so right, when they said military intelligence, two words combined that can't make sense?
Oh, look, that's Q's conspiracy folks will go nuts. There's a flight with Q flight. And they will. This will be a Q proof within hours, guaranteed.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
I just wish people would get out more.
So who do you think is Q?
Well,
we taking bets?
Kevin knows who Q is.
Yeah, we pretty much nailed down who we believe.
No. I don't mean ripping it apart and like I know that. I mean let's play the game. Who?
I actually think it's Nancy Pelosi.
Yes, no. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase this. Let's put on our Q hats.
I got it.
Like a pussy hat, but it's a big Q.
Who is it, Joe? Who is it?
So yeah,
Jared Kushner.
Oh wow!
Jared Kushner. That's right. He's Q. Military intelligence? No.
You mean Q confirmed?
He is Q confirmed. Jared Kushner. He's also the Antichrist. And what else what else was he called? Because he was pivotal in getting the embassy moved to Jerusalem.
Yeah, he is a player. Don't get me wrong. He is.
He's a player. So if he's a player, he's Q, dude. He's totally Q.
I think it's still RFK Jr.
RFK Jr. I like that one. I'll go with that.
Good one. Yeah, okay. I'll go with Kev on that.
RFK
the whole RFK Jr. thing was just completely out of control when they started tying all that in. I was like, wow. Well, hey, 90 Kid in D Live says that Vladimir Putin is Q.
Oh,
now
don't tell the Democrats that.
The Baker family tree there.
Don't tell the Democrats that. They'll start another bloody investigation. Next Assange will be Q.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, he could be. Not anymore.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the pictures of JFK Jr. being Q.
All right, Popeye, who's Q?
It's a huge conspiracy. Are you ready for this? It's a Q-spiracy. And I honestly think that Q is really the sandwich guy down at the cafeteria in the White House, right in the lunchroom, whatever you want to call it.
Sandwich guy. He's the guy that runs
he's
the
the
register.
sandwich guy who's got nothing better to do.
He's employed by the Lighthouse for the Blind.
He's
a blind
trolling the
cashier.
ever-loving shit out of all these people.
Is
No,
this
listen,
not
he's
like
the blind. He's a blind cashier with supersonic hearing. He can hear everything.
See, when you look at these pictures over here, Joe, is this not like reminiscent of like Dallas Goldbug back in the day?
Oh,
You know-
totally. Is that? Yeah. What is it?
Look,
like
there's the proof. That's proof.
JFK Jr. is Muammar Gaddafi. Look at him. Look at him. It's in the ears.
It looks like.
Wait, no. Is this actually a good thing?
Yeah, dude. This was a big thing, man. Yep.
Yeah, this was huge, man.
Look,
That
it
they
was
were
big.
all going
Yep.
nuts saying that JFK Jr. was Q. That he
I'm
never.
so glad I took time off.
You need to go and
I mean,
check
I'll
out Uni Rock, man. He's broke it all down over months. It's taken him, and he's got it all. It's worth taking the time to watch it all. Some streams he done were like 8 hours long, where he just went down the rabbit hole searching for these bastards. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, but he
But
figured it out.
you know, engaging the. I mean, I'm glad somebody's debunking it, but like, even engaging this retardery shows
it's taking part in the
gives
LARP,
it a
isn't
level of validity. Which I mean, it's just so stupid. Well, I mean, people, no, they killed JFK Jr. You know why they killed that kid? Because he would have knocked Hillary Clinton out of the running to be in the Senate. Okay, that's why. And he would have if he not only would he have knocked her out, but if he ran for president against Bush, the Muppet, you know, the one that was in charge when 9/11 happened, Dick Cheney's Muppet, right? If he that whole thing wouldn't have happened, you couldn't have if JFK Jr. ran for president legitimately and he wasn't in, he was, you know, he wanted to be the president, he wanted to change shit, right? Like his father. They wouldn't have allowed it. Something would have happened along the way anyway. And the kid also had his own magazine called George Magazine. And he wrote a scathing, or let me rephrase that. He published a pretty scathing article by Stone, that Oliver Stone, about the assassination of JFK, his father, and how he didn't believe that the government's official version, and he didn't think that Oswald was a lone gunman, and, you know, Stone went into, you know, he wrote this huge piece and he published it in his magazine, George Magazine. And there's more to it. I mean, I'm just kind of like throwing bits and pieces out there. There's a good documentary. It should still be up on YouTube. I used to be able to say, oh, you can go to YouTube and look it up, but that's actually like harder to do nowadays. If you go to federaljack.com, it's in the JFK section. And there's a download section. Go to the download section, go to the JFK section, and then it's in there. And it's about the assassination of JFK Jr. And I've interviewed the filmmaker. Joe, you did too, Hinky. And it's well researched.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's pretty good.
The guy did a ton of research, and he shows you, you know, how and why they would have wanted to take him out. And when you think, if people are going to say, well, Popeye, you said Hillary Clinton and Bush they're on two separate sides. No, they're not. No, stop that. Stop thinking like that, and understand that they are all part of the same power, right? And that power could not and would not ever let another Kennedy get into office. John had the balls to think he was the president and was going to change things, and he blew his brains out in Dealey Plaza in a public display on purpose, killing of the king style, to take his power and never allow his lineage to ever be in power again, whether it be his children, his brothers. You think Teddy Kennedy and that whole thing with Chappaquiddick? I'm not saying he wasn't drunk. I'm not saying that, Mary Jo Kopechne didn't die. But what if he was drugged? I'm not saying he shouldn't have run away, that he should have run away or anything. His behavior afterwards was obviously wrong and atrocious. But what if he was drugged and he was supposed to die in that accident with her?
Could very well be, dude.
And because he didn't die, then they ended up using it as a character assassination because he never, ever entertained running for president after that.
Right. It was a no-win situation for him. Either way.
And then then Jack's son was murdered. So they couldn't allow a Kennedy lineage back into office ever again for fear that they wouldn't be able to control him. I mean, you kill the dad. It's like, that's old school style. If you kill the king, you kill all his offspring too.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did.
It's like Game of Thrones.
It's RFK Jr., and look at him. The poor guy, he comes out, he's a staunch advocate with the anti-vaxxers and anti-vaccine, just basically choice. Just like the whole abortion argument. It should basically be the same. It's a matter of choice. Do the homework and make the choice yourself. And that's all he's advocating, and he's getting raked over the coals for it. For what? The measles is back. So what? The measles is back. There was a time
Don't you find it unsettling, Joe? Their reaction and how everyone's cool with it. You remember like 10 years ago, right? 2008, 2009. You remember like, I know you were active. You were doing the Freedom Link.
Yeah.
And I remember going, with other people in our group that would we had Federal Jack had the website, but then we also had people that would come out to do street events, and we would go to public health meetings and stuff about the topic of forced vaccinations. And there were people in there that were incensed and like, no, I don't want my child to be vaccinated because, forced vaccinated. Like I'm the parent. I want to have a choice in what goes into my child. And there was a lot of people there that were concerned. There were people that were concerned that they were going to be forcefully vaccinated. We have video footage of us sitting in these meetings, taking on the health department, because the health department was like, we're not going to forcefully vaccinate people. Yeah. And because that was a big concern, and everybody was upset about it. And they're like, we're not going to do it. So you saw how it got kind of pushed onto the back burner. Now you see how they work. They bring it back when the time is right and when society is prepped. And now you're an anti-vaxxer moron if you don't vaccinate your child or yourself because you're causing a measles outbreak. And now it's not just kids. They're talking about forcefully vaccinating adults.
Oh, hang on. Joe, you've got a story about that dude that ties in. The Ebola, man.
Oh, that's right. Listen to this. NBC News. Congo's Ebola response threatened by conspiracy theory and rumors. So even over in Africa, people are starting to say, wait a minute, this is weird. Listen to this. People who have contracted Ebola are opting to die at home rather than seek treatment as conspiracy theories fuel distrust of the government and of health workers grappling with the crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Nearly 20 new cases of the deadly illness are being identified daily in 2 northeast provinces of the country. Both areas are opposition strongholds where political tensions run high. Many of the victims are being discovered outside treatment centers after they refuse to seek help. The epidemic has left more than 700 dead and affected more than 1,000 people. So in addition to combating a lethal virus, health workers are having to dispel rumors that the disease is manufactured and that the millions of dollars spent on the response are part of a money-making scheme derisively referred to as the Ebola business. So even over in Africa, people are like, wait a minute.
But think about it, Joe, right? These people have had like multi-generational oppression and torture and genocide, right? And they see it. They see it, man. And I bet you, if we were to get a fairer kind of opinion out of there, if we were to hear in the media what the locals are really saying, I bet you they say this every time something like this happens. I bet you when the vans come to vaccinate them, half of them are saying, get to hell. Do you know what I mean? They know fine, dude.
Yeah. 25%, they said in a study conducted in September of people surveyed in the affected areas said did not believe Ebola was real, while 36% thought it was fabricated to destabilize the region. Saying this, listen to this. This is a quote. It's all about the money. They were getting bonuses for cases they find that prolonging the response helped the business side. And let's see, Anifa Vahavi, a demographic researcher in Butembo, said that she encountered skepticism about Ebola's existence and origins and questions about why aid workers take extra precaution when treating it compared to malaria and cholera. Ebola treatment centers established by the central government in conjunction with international aid groups have been met with suspicion. Designed to isolate and treat suspected cases of Ebola and staffed by health workers wearing bulky spacesuits, the centers come with an increased presence of police and military forces. Some in Butembo even believe that, quote, when you go there, they inject you with the disease. So I'm telling you.
Holy shit.
There's a whole, people are getting militant about this too. It says on Friday, the World Health Organization said an Ebola doctor was killed in an attack on Butembo University Hospital because people are starting to riot. Hours later, attackers armed with machetes tried to burn down another treatment center. Yeah. 2 centers run by Doctors Without Borders, along with Ministry of Health, were attacked 3 days apart in February, forcing health workers to suspend operation.
Because it's been done, and
that's right.
Fact that they've not only they use the people in poorer countries like lab rats, and it's also for population control. Don't let them bullshit you,
right,
and tell you otherwise. Okay. And they've done sterilization before. This is what I mean though. Everything they go and they shake. It's like sand art. You know, you have a beautiful picture and you can see in sand art, someone comes along and shakes the plate and everything's all fucked up and mixed up. That's what they've done over the past couple of years with everybody, with bringing them into an emotional state and not thinking with logic and reacting and thinking only on emotion, with orange man good, orange man bad, you know, hate you, hate, you know, kill, you know, we should bomb each other, lock each other up. We should, you know, people actually killing each other, running each other over with cars, or shooting each other and stabbing each other over stupid shit because they disagree with, you know, whose tribe master is in the chair at this moment in time, when they all work. Even those tribe masters all have their own master that they all work for. Okay. It's ridiculous. People, what are we? A bunch of like simians arguing, you know, we're like gorillas. Seriously. That's why I really believe that interdimensional beings kind of don't want to talk to us, because we're the galaxy's version of primitive on like such a scale. It's hard for us to even comprehend, okay? Because we're this easily brought off track. Mankind was starting to wake up, and they understood. Kev, we talked about this when we discussed the Matrix a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yep.
I said it realized, the architect, whatever you want to call it, realized what was going on, and it's making a correction. And literally, it felt like I woke up the day after the election, and remember, we all talked about this. It was like something was off. It was like, wow, something's weird. It not because Trump won, whatever. It's something is weird. Like something's changed. It's almost like there was a shift in the timeline.
We
all had this discussion.
We all said that. Yeah, we all said that.
Two seconds, Scotty. We've got a guy in the chat room. Thanks for the Africa news, guys. Greetings from Kenya. You guys have many listeners in Africa. So there you go. There you go.
Cool. That's awesome. And hey, going to this Ebola thing, you know, I believe that it is a race-specific bioweapon.
Yeah.
that was tested, because remember when we had the big Ebola scare here in the U.S. and
remember that movie Outbreak? I think it was, and that was wasn't that the disease that they had?
Yeah, the other one, Contagion as well.
Right.
Yeah, and so you notice that like when the aid workers or whatever contract the disease, they miraculously survive.
Yeah, right.
But the people of color who get the disease always end up dying. And
we know that capability, they've had that. Another way of looking at it, if you look up binary bioweapons and things like that, you find like Dr. Mary's monkey, the cancer that they popped into the polio vaccines that sat dormant until you went through the change, and then poof, there's the trigger for it, and people start getting cancer.
Didn't Dick Cheney talk about race-specific bioweapons at some point? I'm not sure.
Remember, but I'm sure he has. Him or Zabignu.
Like as some kind of a,
they you know how they admit that they've tested things on the public?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's one of the things that they're testing on the public, right? When they spray stuff and they're like, oh, we're just going to test this to see, don't worry, it's not harmful, whatever. Right. Sure. I don't believe anything they say. When they tell me it's all okay, I think the exact opposite. Okay.
Yeah. And then you end up getting a mystery upper respiratory illness that spreads across the United States. Nobody knows.
Just remember the immortal words of Christy Todd Whitman after the 9/11 event. The air is safe to breathe.
Oh, yes.
I want you to remember those words, ladies and gentlemen. The air is safe to breathe because we've lost more people due to the illnesses and the cancers and all the diseases and everything that are related to 9/11 from all the exposure than we did on the event.
It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with the amount of Brajol and all that stuff, all those Italian meats that got thrown in the air from all the delis that got blown.
I'll tell you what, that's got enough carcinogens and shit in it too. By itself.
A bunch of baloney everywhere.
There was a senior class that year. There's a good documentary. Again, I would tell you to go to YouTube, but it's probably not there anymore. Just go over to Federal Jack, go to the download section, go to the 9/11 section, and you can download it all for free. It's called Dust to Dust, The Health Effects of 9/11. Most of the first responders and people that were in that movie are now dead. And you'll see how the entire senior class, I forget the high school, it was like right by ground zero. It was
right by ground zero. Oh, yeah, they all got cancer.
Even cleaned the air ducts, Joe.
Yeah.
And they all got like lymphoma.
Yeah, it was all like it's like the Ronald Reagan, when the Ronald Reagan went over to Fukushima. The same thing.
Can't believe the chat room are abusing me because I'm really, really, really stoned tonight. That's just cruel, Why
would they abuse you for that? I'm not going to. That's a wonderful thing. I wish you'd do it more often.
420 every day. That's the way to live, man.
It is.
Not over here in backward Scotland where we have sharpened ladles for if things get really nasty.
It's one of the good things about Massachusetts.
You better be careful.
You
better be careful, Kev. Pretty soon, Joe and his hat is going to be banned. Just having an image of Joe wearing his hat is going to be banned because Joe's hat and Joe's pervasive American attitude could be totally weaponized and hurt someone's feelings.
It's his male.
I'm talking about.
It's his male toxicity. That's what it is, man. That and his vajankle. And his God, come on, Joe, show us your doll face. Come on, dude. It's been a while. Come on, man. Shows your blow up doll face. There he goes.
You look like Weird Al Yankovic.
Either that, or you actually look like a vajankle with a face.
I do, kind of, don't I? Well, at least there's work for me if I go unemployed.
Kristen in the chat says, I've got baby lungs now. Lightweight, can't hang with the big boys now. I can't actually argue with that, to be honest with you. No, really can't.
That's when you just go the edible route. You don't have to hang with the big boys if you lungs. Just do.
I want some of those stars of death that Joey Diaz eats.
I want you to take it to the next level, though. I want you to do a Star of Death suppository.
Oh, cool,
By the
man.
way,
On YouTube.
Oh, wait. Whoa. Wait. I'll bet you that'll be your highest rated show.
Probably that'll be the million hits I've always dreamt about, dude.
There you go. That's what
Gonna
I'm saying.
say,
You want to get that?
That would be the one. That would be the one that would go mega viral.
Yeah.
Take Kevin.
The Star of Death.
Why don't
In
you
the
just
Star
do
of
septic
Death.
tank guy, Kev?
But then every week I would like have to like shove things up my holiest of holies just to keep the trend going.
But it would truly be the Star of Death within the Star of Death.
True. You're right, Joe. It's like the Russian dolls of Stars of Death.
That's what I'm saying.
We started on a black hole and we're finishing on a black hole. Eh? See?
Going for full circle.
Well, Scotty, you've got some good, well, not good news, Scott.
No, not at
You've
all.
got some earthy kind of news. You've got your weather report for us, man.
Yeah, this was interesting. I saw this reported yesterday, and this is something that I actually called the day after it happened. So 6 months later, Hurricane Michael is officially been declared a Category 5 hurricane. And so right here of CBS, I believe Miami here, says that Hurricane Michael, which devastated the Florida Panhandle 6 months ago, is now considered a Category 5 storm by the National Hurricane Center. It says Friday, NOAA's National Hurricane Center released a detailed post-storm analysis on all of the data and determined the storm's intensity at landfall was 160 miles an hour, which is 5 miles an hour stronger than the original reported. Says now that Michael falls into Category 5 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale at the time of landfall on October 10th, 2018 near Mexico Beach and Tyndall Air Force Base. The upgraded status means Michael was the first hurricane to make landfall in the United States as a Cat 5 since Hurricane Andrew in 1992 and only the fourth on record. The others are the Labor Day hurricane that hit the Florida Keys in 1935, and Hurricane Camille, which struck the Mississippi coast in 1969. Michael is also the strongest hurricane landfall on record in the Florida Panhandle, and only the second known Category 5 landfall on the northern Gulf Coast. And so, yeah, pretty crazy. I remember the day after the hurricane, I believe I was on your show, Kev, breaking it all down and talking about it. And I said I would not be surprised if, after a while, after they had a chance to go through all the data and look at everything, that they would end up upgrading it to a Cat 5. And sure enough, that looks like what happened, because from what I was seeing on the radar and satellite images when I was tracking it, because I stayed up tracking it all night into the morning. I was so tired by the time it made landfall. But, I love tracking these things. It's just what I do. And just by looking at the way it looked on radar and the velocity data and the satellite image, and then seeing some of the damage that was coming out from Tyndall Air Force Base. I think we played some of the footage on your show showing all of those buildings, at that Air Force Base were just completely...
Oh, that was crazy, dude. That was
crazy
some
stuff.
Mad shit going on, that kind of footage.
Yeah. So just me seeing that, I was like, that's total. That's Cat 5 damage. That's going to be a Category 5 after it's all said and done. And so now it's officially confirmed 6 months later. So yeah, wild stuff, man.
You know what the repair bill for that Air Force Base is in the billions?
I don't doubt it.
Scotty, somebody's asking you, how come it took them that long to determine Cat 5?
Because, well, first of all, bureaucracy. We're talking about a government agency here, right? And another thing is they do extensive damage assessments and looking at all of this stuff. And so it basically boils down to they probably knew it was a Cat 5, and we're fairly confident it was, but they needed to cross all the T's and dot all the I's and make sure that it really checked all of the boxes before they came out and officially declared it a Category 5. But that it's the same way with tornadoes.
Insurance data too. They have to wait for it to come in.
Yeah.
You're correct, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, it's the same thing with tornadoes. Like, you could see a tornado on a video and be like, well, holy hell, that thing looks like an F5 tornado. But you have to wait for the National Weather Service storm damage survey teams to go out there and analyze all of the, look at all of the damage and officially declare it as one. And I have my own issues with how they with the way that they rank tornadoes. I think they need to change how they classify tornadoes.
Well, Scott, you see, before we go tonight, you've got a new name because it's not GeoShift anymore, is it?
No. It's going to be Storm Vector. I think it's more fitting for what I'm going to be doing. Yeah. And so expect some stuff in the future with that. I'm going to be streaming on DLive with like severe weather coverage. And
wait,
I'm
go back because you just made my inner tard go off. What are you? I want to hear your theory. We have time. I want to hear your theory as to the changing of the Fujita class scale because you just like totally piqued my interest. So please.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I don't think the way they rank tornadoes on the Fujita scale is accurate, and I don't think. They base tornado rankings on damage, right? So here's my thing. I think that like F5 tornadoes are severely underreported because you can have an F5 tornado in a field and not hitting anything. And
you really wouldn't know.
Exactly.
Right?
No damage.
If they're basing the ranking on damage, then you're having a whole bunch of tornadoes that are extremely strong not being reported. And in turn, if you're collecting data scientifically, you want an accurate representation of what you're seeing, right? So I just think that they need to rank tornadoes based on velocity data from mobile Doppler radar vehicles that are scanning the storm. And if they're picking up wind speeds like 300 miles an hour.
Yeah, obviously. That's
an F5 tornado. Yeah, but if it doesn't hit anything, they don't rank it as an F5.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's a weird way of doing it. Doesn't even make sense.
Like, I guess one of those flaws, you know what I mean? Or fatal.
We need the Lopez scale.
The Lopez loophole killer.
That's man.
It's just interesting. It's so, yeah. Or you could have like an F5 tornado that weakens, and then it hits something, and then they rank it as like an F3 or an F2 or something. But that doesn't take away from the fact that at one point it was an F5 tornado.
Yep.
So
they're not giving these damn tornadoes the credit that they're due, Scott.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You make an extremely valid point because I mean well put, Scott. I mean it skewers the data. What would you're a super intelligent individual, you know about different types of technology. What would you say could be done to fix that?
To fix like the ranking system?
Yeah. I mean, I have my own idea, but I want to hear your thoughts. I know there's got to be some sort of like laser technology that they could use to measure the storm's strength.
Well, they already have technology.
Right.
They already. Yeah.
Well, I know they drop. I know they fly in and they drop shit into it, and they, and instruments and stuff. But what if not only they did that, but they took all that data and the damage data?
Hey, new member, Rhonda. Welcome to the madness. You have now got a room in the asylum. There you go, guys.
I know what you mean because they do. They base it off. They say they base it off what the tornado eats. Right, like they said in Twister, right? But so like that's a really valid point. So what would you do? I mean, you do a lot of storm tracking. I listen to the Scott cast when we have hurricanes coming in here. You know that Tina and I constantly chat with you, and we're watching the Scott cast. So what would you say, like from your opinion, how could we fix that?
Well, first of all, I think that they need to focus more validity and attention to actual radar data. If you're looking at a storm from a radar site, like say there's a bunch of storms by Topeka, and you're watching the storm using the Topeka radar site. Those radar sites are extremely high resolution now. They've upgraded all of those over the past 10 years with level 2 radar data. It used to be what they call level 3 data, which is not, the resolution isn't so good. So I think that these National Weather Service radar sites are plenty capable now of telling you or showing you that, hey, this is a F5 tornado just by the radar signature alone. You know what I mean? So I think they need to like fold that into the equation whenever they're ranking these tornadoes and look at the radar data and say, yeah, this thing was probably spinning at like 300 miles an hour. Let's just go ahead and rank it an F5, even though it didn't hit anything. You would want that data if you're collecting averages of tornadoes over the years and collecting long-term, climatological data. I just
not a good place to build your dream house is right in that swath of land. It's prone to F5s.
So yeah, I think that radar data needs to be taken a little more seriously. I mean, obviously, the radar data isn't lying to you, right? I mean, it's showing you the wind speeds, and especially, like I said, if you have mobile radar vehicles out there, like from universities or even from NOAA themselves, the National the Severe Storms Laboratory, NSSL, they have mobile radar trucks that have extremely high resolution because they're only parked like 3 miles from the tornado and they're scanning the thing. And if that's picking up wind speeds like 300 miles an hour, I think you have to use that data, and you have to use that in the equation of ranking a tornado. I just think it's ridiculous that they base it all just on damage alone and they don't look at anything else.
No, you're right there.
So that's my take on it. That's my take on it.
We're going to have the Lopez scale. We're going to do it. We'll get a peer-reviewed paper on the go. And folks, I want to thank everyone for the super chats tonight. That's awesome. All the new members as well. And I think we might just have unlocked a new emoji. So if that's the case, all you members out there, tomorrow we'll be able to go to the Nano Girl will be on the live stream earlier on. I think that's about 12:30-ish. We'll have to see what time I get back from Roslyn, but Nano Girl's definitely going to be on. And then I'm pretty sure I'm hooking up with these crazy characters again. And I see people in the chat room loving the fact Nano's going to be back. So yeah, that's all to come tomorrow. Remember, if you want to support the stream, you can get all the links in the description, dono buttons, all the rest of it. But I want to thank you all for being here. Popeye for dropping in at the last moment with his beard of wisdom. Thank you, Popeye. Any sage thoughts from the shaman himself, Mr. Popeye?
Just open your eyes, think logically, and don't act emotionally, because that's where everybody's at right now. We're not even in thinking mode anymore. We're just in fear. Take a step back, breathe in, breathe out, look at everything, see it for what it is, take it in, and let logic be your guide. Don't lose your connection to emotion or love. It's very important. Especially, I posted about this on Facebook. Kev, I tagged you in this. I saw that you had liked it. This is the season of sacrifice right now, this time period. And you could do a 3-hour show just on that alone. Go do the research on the season of sacrifice. The point is, at this time of year, a lot of bad things happen, and there's a lot of negative energy associated with that. So it's always good to remind people, especially at this time of year, of their connection and of the power of love, because the universe operates on love and fear, right? Those are the two frequencies. Hate stems from fear. If everybody can just get themselves, take a step back, don't lose your connection. Emotion is not a bad thing, but don't allow it to rule you. Take a step back, look at things logically, and even if it upsets you because you've been lied to and you've acted on emotion and you've done things or said things that were wrong, it's okay. Take a step back, breathe in, breathe out. Just say, I now see things as they are. and work to make the world a better place. It's the best advice I could give everybody.
Popeye, your advice is always best. And of course, Joe Joseph, being the asshole that he is, he's pulling emojis that look like his blow-up doll face. So Joe's away to play with his vajankle. I'll be back tomorrow with Nano Girl. Maybe Joe will bring his vajankle to play tomorrow. We never know. You going to bring it out to show us, Joe? Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, he's got his come on, man. You've got a blow-up doll emoji that looks like you.
Hey.
That's cool, dude. That's cool. But folks, we are out of here. And Dodger using the Popeye. What's it like, Popeye, knowing that you've got your own emoji that people can pay for in the chat room?
I actually think that's pretty cool. Thank you. I think that's a compliment.
That's what myself and Scotty, I'm like to Scotty, well, we do it. He's like, the Popeye will love that, dude. I'm like, yep, that's what we're doing.
We were saying before the show, we were like, Kev just took it upon himself to pimp you out.
$5 a month, you can have Popeye. Love you long time.
Kev's my Scottish pimp.
What can I say, folks? And yes, my eyeballs have been wrecked tonight. I don't think I'll be quite this stoned tomorrow, hopefully. Although 420 is every day, right? No, I won't be this bad, folks. But we'll be back tomorrow. So until then, keep it real. And as Popeye says, be the change. We're out of here, guys.